You're listening to KX 93.5, Laguna's only FM. I'm Scott Hayes. This is Radio Caravan. Everybody's scrambling to get their photos taken.
I know.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff goes on here in the break.
A lot of stuff goes on. I'm delighted to introduce our next guest. I mentioned earlier that I found him online at one of those TED Talks, and I was just kind of looking for guests to bring to the show. And you know, if you go online and you look on their website, there's like dozens and dozens of speakers, right? But I kept coming back to this one individual, sort of a rapper poet, because he had a very interesting message on stage, and he had a great stage presence. And so I always go back and do a little more research on the guests before they come in. And the more I learned about our next guest, the more interested I became in having him on our show.
I found the same thing when you told me he was going to be on. I went and I looked, and I was on YouTube, and I was on all over the place. And I'm going to be interested to see what comes out of this, because there's a lot there.
There's a lot there. So let me introduce first and foremost our guest this morning is Poet Ollie.
Yes, sir. Good morning, you guys. What a great introduction.
Was that a great introduction?
I think that's about the best I've had. Good morning.
You know, we're trying to kind of... Let me back up a step. How did you come up with the name Poet Ollie?
Okay.
And what should we ultimately call you? Mr. Ollie?
No,
or
Poet's fine. Poet's fine, yeah. So it started as a lot longer name. And my go-to name growing up was this really long nickname. And then when I started doing more stuff in the industry, they're like, you got to shorten that, because it used to be a Poet Nomad Ali. And it was all one word. So when you read it, you didn't even know what language it was in, because everyone just kind of blended the letters together. So ultimately that just got shortened to Poet, which has been my nickname for a long time. Yeah. And Ali, which is also my name.
And so
where'd you grow up?
Well, we moved around a lot. I was born in Iran.
Okay.
But we moved to San Diego area, and then to Mission Viejo.
Okay,
and I spent some time here. It was Diablo.
I was
High
too.
School. Yeah, no kidding.
Go Diablo.
Yeah, that's right. Baby,
Yeah,
Diablo for life.
Bonding.
And then I moved to Los Angeles, and then I moved out of the country. I lived in Madrid for a while, and then it's been kind of on the road since then. Now I'm in Long Beach, California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, let's go back to the TED Talk for a moment. You know, one of the sort of titles of one of the speeches or lectures that you give was called Make a Wish for Beauty. Do I have that correct?
Yeah,
and
Make a Wish, yeah.
And the other one was called The Most Important Language You Will Ever Learn.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are those two separate messages, each of those? And can you sort of define what you do on stage and what message you're trying to convey?
Sure. Ultimately, I think the clearest, representation of what I'm trying to convey is in that TED Talk that you saw, which is titled The Most Important Language You Will Ever Learn. And the listeners can kind of find it, and I'd want them to kind of experience the surprise of it all the same way you did. But it's really just about unity, bringing people together, connecting with people, and finding points to relate on as opposed to points to create a differential between you and someone else.
What's it take to prepare for that talk?
It takes focus for what you want to say, because I do a lot of things. I have my hand in a lot of things, but ultimately that speech or that talk became about, if you have an opportunity to tell the world something or share something from your heart, how can you convey that in the most exciting way, in a way where people will tune in, but they'll also take away something from it. So that was the goal ultimately.
You had to obviously sort of write your lecture.
Correct.
You had to do the multimedia in the background.
Correct.
You had to sort of hone your presentation skills.
Yes, sir.
How long did it take you to prepare for that?
I'm embarrassed to say. Well, I speak a lot on the road, so I was in between touring. I was, at home writing and kind of staying up and turned my room into a little mini presentation hall. And, the prep was really funny, because sometimes I'd light candles and pretend I'm talking to an audience and no one's in the room. My roommate would come and say, what's going on in here, man? So
a little alone time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you were happy with the ultimate outcome.
I was
yes?
really, really excited about it, and it takes a lot for me to say that. The in that theater was magic. It was just, and some of that I think transferred to the video that you saw.
How would you describe then, outside of the TED lectures that we've witnessed online, and anybody can go out online and kind of track them down? Yes. How would you describe your act? Is it an act? Is it a? I mean,
my shows or my act, I would guess would be music and motivation.
Okay.
And sometimes there's more one, and sometimes there's more the other. If I'm not doing a full out concert where it's all music, then I'm speaking on the road. If I'm not speaking on the road, and sometimes it's a blend of the two. So music and motivation would be probably the clearest distinction.
How would you describe your music?
My music, that's a tough one. I write for a lot of artists. My own personal music, I would say, is hip-hop poetry, with a bit of soul, a bit of R&B in there. Yeah.
And then how would you describe the lectures you go out and give? What is sort of the purpose of the lectures you go out and give?
It's twofold. If I'm speaking for, someone that's booked Poet Ali, it's kind of what we talked about, but I also speak for an organization called Rachel's Challenge. And Rachel's Challenge is an assembly program that was founded by the family of Rachel Scott. And Rachel Scott was the first person killed in the Columbine shooting, if you guys remember the tragedy that happened.
Of course, yeah.
And the talks that we give, the presentations that we give are built around her life and her legacy. After she died, they found an essay that she wrote. And this essay said, I have this theory that if one person can go out of their way to show compassion, then it will start a chain reaction of the same. So we go into schools and companies and high schools and middle schools and all over the United States, and I'm just honored and really lucky to speak for them.
What attracted you to this particular cause? You could have been attracted to a lot of causes. Why this particular one, and where were you when the Columbine shooting occurred?
I was at Mission Viejo High School. Yeah, I was at Mission Viejo High School, and it was April 20th, 1999, when the shooting took place, and it was kind of a dividing point in education for all of America. Everyone remembers that day, and schools and what happens in schools, and safety became just a different situation there. And I guess what attracted me to Rachel's message and the message of Rachel's Challenge was that they're universal truths that everyone can relate to. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what your beliefs are, doesn't matter who you are. This idea of kindness and starting a chain reaction is something that we can all benefit from.
So, Poet, one of the things I saw about you is your background, your ancestry, your culture as an Iranian American. Talk about that a little bit, because as I saw some of the things you said, you've got a really strong view of who you are and what your place in your community is and what that community's place is in America.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I mean, probably a whole show could be dedicated to that, because there's when I started doing music and arts, there wasn't a whole lot of hip-hop artists that were Iranian American. I'm sure you're familiar with the road or the expectations and things like that. My family's always been extremely creative, extremely supportive. Music and art has been a huge part of our life, and so there's a lot of duality to my place in and not so much in the community. And because I always describe myself as an artist that happens to be Persian. I'm not a Persian artist because my music is not really in Farsi, or I grew up as an Iranian American. So that's the music I do. So it's kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, I saw you had some comments about the Bravo show.
Oh yeah,
right?
the Shah of the Sunset.
Shah of the Sunset.
Yeah. So that was received with also some duality. So
Right.
I got a lot of comments on there. If you want to laugh or see what some of the
Scott,
interesting.
one of the things is that there's these stereotypes about Iranians and especially Iranian Americans, first generation, or people who immigrated here, very professionally, doctors and lawyers and accountants and successful people, but there's this whole idea that it's motivated by money, and Poet has a different thought on what
what
his
should motivate
people really,
people.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that ties into one of the songs that we're going to perform here, that OCD, Orange County
Yeah.
Disorder, which kind of goes back to that money thing. It's
Right.
it's funny. We're going to have some fun.
You're trilingual. You speak 3 different languages: Farsi, English, and
Spanish.
Spanish. And do you actually perform in different languages or just in English?
All 3 of them.
All 3 of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
And you write songs in all 3 of them as
Yes,
well?
sir.
Yeah. And then you mentioned the Chain Reaction series of concerts, and I know there was sort of a series of concerts in Bermuda.
Yeah.
Can you speak briefly to
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. So shout out to my Bermuda fam if you're listening out there. I had I just got back from a tour in Bermuda. It was a week-long concert where they had me perform at all the public schools on the island, both middle school and high school. And the kids, the students, they were on fire. They were out of control.
Have you seen this footage?
Yeah,
I have.
I've
It's
seen
pretty
their
amazing.
schools
Yeah.
just
Standing
turn
there.
up. They're losing
Yeah.
their mind out there. I was losing my mind. It
Yeah,
was just,
they're all in
I
their
mean,
uniforms, dark skin, and here he is doing his
it was
thing.
it was
It's pretty cool.
amazing. It was amazing week, amazing show. And that was the second time I was out there. The first time I was out there, we had the same thing, a week of shows. But when they brought me back, I knew I had to turn up because they already knew what to expect.
What was the purpose of the show?
The purpose of the show was tied in to they have a team out there, Chain Reaction, which is also built off the Rachel's Challenge program. They have a great relationship with them, and once a month they'll bring in celebrities or entertainers or musicians to inspire the kids. And every month they have either an assembly or a concert, something to get them fired up that ties back into the core of those values and those messages, but also kind of ties into what is the things that this person is advocating. For me, it was kind of believing in yourself and your dreams and not worrying about, what the naysayers and worrying about being ridiculed or failure. You just get back up. And that was really important for a lot of those kids to hear.
And do you feel like hip-hop or rap sort of is a great platform to reach out to the younger generation?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Because I think it's if not one of the most universal, languages out there. It's not just something that's big in, big urban cities now. It's a global phenomenon. It brings a lot of people together.
We handle everything from general corporate formation, partnership, real estate. We have a full-service litigation practice, and we also have a group of lawyers that handle bankruptcy and general insolvency matters.
We offer big firm experience with a small firm feel.
The person that you're hiring is the person who's going to be representing you throughout your entire map.
The slogan of redefining full service attempts to capture 2 things. One, an explanation of the breadth or the diversity of the legal services that we provide, but also to recognize that our service to our community does not end with our legal services.
Whether it's a pro bono opportunity where we're representing people for free, or whether we're actually volunteering on a project like Habitat for Humanity, for example.
It includes the philanthropic efforts, the volunteering of time, and the donating of resources outside just the 4 corners of this law office.
I'm out of breath.
Scott's
you-
always running around.
Running around. You're
93.5.
Go for it.
KXFM, Laguna's only FM, 93.5.
Woo!
There we go.
Is this okay?
Jim.
Hey,
Box.
I'm Scott Hayes. That was Jim Bastian. And, of course, we have in the studio Poet Ollie.
Yes,
and
yes.
Poet, you and I were chatting about sort of what your performance here will be. Talk to us about the song you're about to perform live in our studio.
Get ready, Orange County.
This is a controversial piece. So I was asked to write a song for placement when at the height of those reality shows, when they were all out. And I wrote this song, and I sent it in, and there was a big uproar about it, which was a good thing. People really liked it, but they were afraid to place it. So it's still kind of in rotation, trying to get placed right now. So this may help with that. This may help. You guys are taking a chance. Others were afraid of it. It's not crazy. It's fun.
Trailblazers.
It's all in good fun.
Trailblazers.
It's kind of just facing some of the things we talked about in terms of some of the stereotypes that were out there, and just a real funny song called OCD, stands for Orange County Disorder.
Poet Ollie.
So they won't be able to hear, but they'll be able to hear the beat too. All right. Here we go. It goes like this. She got OCD. She like that ocean breeze, like duh. She love Laguna Beach, yeah, and she the Snapchat queen of the world. Yo, she got OCD, Orange County Disorder. Her mom's got it too, in fact, she gave it to her daughter. She don't eat carbs and the breasts are fake, and she a fake blonde, no, you're not from LA. claiming that she is to be all mystic, man. The only thing mystic about her is that mystic tan. I know this girl, she about 16, and nothing sweet about her except that Humvee that her daddy bought her. Now he like dumb me, cause she crashed it, cashed it in, and bought an M3. Her boyfriend drive a truck and he spikes his hair, and he walks with a stick up his and drinks beer. He like the UFC and he lives in the gym. He got OCD, but don't tell him. He wears tighter pants than his girlfriend does. When he have a few drinks, he like, dude, I'm buzzed. She got OCD, like, she like that ocean breeze, like, duh. She love Laguna Beach, yeah, and she the Snapchat queen of the world. Yo, he like the UFC, bro, right on. He ride his bike to the bars,
dude, it's on.
He wears tight jeans,
they're designer, bro.
And he the, yeah. Yo, she like emo rock and bad hip hop, and she the Snapchat queen of the world. She love to say the N-word in every song. She might be racist and she might be, Red Bull and vodka, might be Coke and rum, might be apple martini, might be two-piece bikini or slim cigarettes. A glass of wine spark your interest. Her perfect guy, kinda rich. She young and they just wanna have fun. Her favorite song, Snoop Dogg, Ain't No Fun. Ain't no one rating on her queendom. She got OCD, like, she like OCD.
Like duh.
She like that ocean breeze.
Yeah.
She like that ocean breeze.
Like,
And she the Snapchat queen of the world.
Oh, yeah.
He like the UFC.
Bro, right on.
He ride his bike to the bars.
Dude, it's on.
He wears tight jeans.
They're designer, bro.
And he the Snapchat king of the world. Yo, look, I probably got a little bit of OCD on the radio, rapping like the next Jay-Z. But if you see me in the streets, don't be mad at me. If you do, you probably got OCD.
Woo! Round of applause. Hey, that's Poet Ali and Jim Bastian.
Don't be mad, Laguna. Don't be mad, okay? It's all in good fun.
They're taking it on the road. They're touring. They'll be showing up first of the year. Jim, where did that come from?
OC, baby.
Did you know the song?
Straight out of MV. No, I just heard it.
Are
It's
you
right
making
there. I
that
get
stuff up as we go
it.
along?
I know. It's right. He gave me the lyrics, and I
That's
can
beautiful.
improv.
I
can
thought that was
roll.
quite talented
Freestyling.
from
that
you.
Jim
dance.
does.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what he does.
You know, how do you remember all of those lyrics in a song like that?
You don't always. You don't, but that's where freestyling comes in.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I love the body language and the dancing and all that sort of stuff and the personality that comes out in a song like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you take a lot of different voices, I guess.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, great job on that. I thought that was
Thank
really
you.
well done.
Thank you.
I want to get back a little bit to some of the lectures and the touring you do, like for Chain Reaction and so forth and so on. One of the messages you tend to share in your talks is this idea of feeling empowered with your own story. Can you define what that means exactly? And then here's going to be the follow-up. What was your own story that made you feel empowered?
So to answer the first part of that question, I think a lot of times what happens to us, as difficult as it is, as hard as it is, as tragic as it is, we sometimes can process that from a place of embarrassment or a place of shame or a place of being defeated by it. Whereas ultimately, if we find a way to kind of get past that without taking it out of our story, you know, it's created the resilience that we have. It's created who we are. And if we can own that, you know, whatever those triumphs or failures are, I think ultimately, that's going to lead to an ability to access some of your greatest gifts that you have to give to the world.
So can you give us a personal example of that? Is that possible?
Sure. When I started emceeing, or when I started writing, when I started rapping, hip hop wasn't as global as it was, and so there wasn't a whole lot of kids that were non-black or non-Latino doing this. And it was very easy to get defeated, very easy to be, you know what I mean? Now, of course, Eminem kind of, opened that door, and it's just hip-hop is just such a universal thing. It's not even a question. It doesn't even matter. Some places you go, it still is, but part of that is when you start doing something and people from all sides look at you and say, why are you doing this? Or that's not what you're supposed to be doing, or that's not for you. If you don't have a real strong sense of self, you can get deterred by those things.
who are some of your influences in the hip hop community? Who are some of the pioneers?
Oh God, that's hard. That's
well,
hard.
I noticed in a lot of your music, you tend to go towards the weightier, meatier.
Yeah, so
not frivolous.
Yeah, one of my favorite groups. I don't know if it's a group that everyone has heard of. It's called Gangstar, and the artist, the MC in that, the rapper's name is Guru, and his stuff is very, very heavy, very poetic, and I love his style. But as a producer, you learn to listen to everything. Like I can take something from Snoop, take something from Ludacris, take something from 50, take something from whoever it is. J. Cole just came out with the album. It's really, really hot right now.
So how do you balance the message with the commercialism aspect? I mean, you got to make some money, but you want to make sure that
that's the $1
That's a
million
great
question.
question.
That's the $1 million question, baby, right there. That's the $1 million question. How do you not sell out in this game? So ultimately, I think you have a line of integrity, and you can only decide how far you're willing to go. And a lot of people have voices in there. I work with young people, and sometimes I'll write stuff in the studio where I'm like, man, is this really promoting or advocating the things that I want them to be about? But it's twofold, because I think as an artist, your greatest responsibility is to your own truth, first and foremost. If not, everything you're writing or everything that comes out is not going to be real. So as ugly or as harsh or foul or grimy or whatever that truth is, that's your first responsibility, to your own truth as an artist. Then from there, you can go back and decide, do I really want to put this out? I don't know.
Well, the thing about it is that you would imagine that the more commercial success you have, the bigger your platform, which means your message can get out further. Right. So you have to maybe use it as a means to an end.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've thought about that on many days, Jim. Let me tell you, I've been in
Well, I
the
look
studio.
at it as artists who cling to this notion of just their integrity at all cost. I think they might be missing something, because there are artists out there that once they get a bigger platform, you realize that they're people of substance.
Absolutely. But I'm going to play devil's advocate on that just for a second, because this is a great conversation for any artist to have. Is a lot of times we know how fickle not only the media, but a first perception can be. And so if your first perception is way out in right field, and then you try to come with something conscious or relevant, they'll be like, was this the same guy that was talking about, in the club, half naked?
Yeah, a little schizophrenia in the message.
So that's where I go back to that line, where if you can do it in a clever way and still, for me at least, but I see what you're saying. I feel like a lot of artists have taken that road. Get in there by any means, blow up, have a stage, have a platform, and then do what you got to do,
Right.
Hey, talk to me about the T-shirt you're wearing. I see Muhammad Ali here.
Yeah, so I have a really close...
Can you stand up, let the camera
Yeah,
catch
yeah.
that shirt real quickly? And you're going to have to talk on the mic, and he's showing us his shirt, and it says, my swag makes... What's it say down there, Poet?
Makes you crazy.
Makes you crazy, and a picture of a younger... It looks like Cassius Clay at that point.
Yeah, so I had the unbelievable privilege of meeting Muhammad Ali. I just recently went to the, is this okay? Can you guys still hear me? Yeah. To the Humanitarian Awards. I was invited there by the Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville, Kentucky. Have a great relationship with them. If anybody ever gets a chance to go to Louisville, Kentucky, I recommend you have to go to the Muhammad Ali Museum. One of the most amazing, brilliant places I've ever been to. And that Make-A-Wish song that you were talking about, we won a contest for the Louisville Day of Compassion, and they flew us out there to perform for the city of Louisville, and the performance was at the Muhammad Ali Center. Wow. And so anytime I'm back there, I go back to the museum and just kind of take it in, and I got this at the museum. He's a huge idol, huge influence, just an amazing man.
What was that experience like, and what was that experience like meeting Muhammad Ali? I mean, he's such a hero around the world.
Well, so in this room, there are just like Jim Brown and Susan Sarandon and Common and all these unbelievable people, and he's not in the greatest health right now.
Right.
And they're all just kind of surrounded. And he made an appearance at this event, as unwell as he was, because of how important it was. So at that time I was just kind of standing and about where Jim is and about where I am, just watching him and looking at him, and I didn't get a chance to talk with him or shake his hand. I didn't want to bother him, but just seeing him be the center of all the attention and not necessarily maybe feeling his best still at this age, because it was so important to inspire, and the Humanitarian Awards, what they were doing and kind of how they pay it forward. It was just amazing. But shout out to my fam at the Muhammad Ali Center as well.
All right. April, we're going to take another very short 1-minute musical break. What do we have lined up there of Poet Ali's?
How about Light Up the Darkness? Would
Yeah,
that
we
be
can
okay?
perform that into the break.
You want to perform it into the break?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Get
Okay.
them started on that. Let them perform it into the break. Give them about, what do you think, about a minute
Yeah,
performance?
yeah, that sounds great.
Alright.
And then
yeah.
we'll roll into the music after
Okay,
that. Yeah.
here we go.
I cursed the darkness all night long. It wouldn't go away.
We could talk about what this song is about
When we come back.
Yeah.
Sounds
the
great.
dark was here to stay.
My God, the darkness.
From the top of the sky, rain down what it looked like. 1,000,001, no more souls in the good fight. Yeah, what it feel like. Feel like I'm alive for the first time. Feel my tears turn to triumph and it feel right. For this is real life. For reaching out, for we don't curse the dark, we shine a real light, real bright. And I think we just might.
The darkness.
Look into my eyes, catch a glimpse of my soul. In case nobody told you, you're not alone. I had my ups and my downs and my highs and my lows, but I never gave up when the doubt raised up. How many of us know what we really want and go? I will create my own dream, the fear's got to go. No one can do that for me, I'm in control. So no more standing in the middle of the road, froze on which way I really gotta go. No yellow bricks to follow, just a boy with a goal. To start a chain reaction that would ripple around the globe. Just tomorrow, my sorrow, I let it go in the past. We don't curse the darkness, we shine the light and last.
From the top of the sky, rain down 1,000,001 more souls in the good fight. I feel alive.
Hi, I'm David Wilhelm, and this is Jimmy's Famous American Tavern. Jimmy's has been called a casual comeback for me. I think that's because most of the restaurants that I developed in the past were white tablecloth, upper-end restaurants. Jimmy's was designed as a place for friends and families to gather and enjoy regional American comfort food in a casual setting. Jimmy's Famous American Tavern. Simple and traditional.
We're in the studio, of course, with Poet Ollie, and we've just been having, I don't even know how to describe it, man. It feels inspired. It feels fun. I've got to believe this is the type of energy you give off at your performances. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I would say maybe a little more turned up than this, but
Yeah.
definitely we're in the vein of fun and meaningful.
Well, what do we
That's
have to
where
do
we're
to turn it up just a little bit more?
I think we got to get Jim just rapping again. We're good.
Yep. No, I'm not going to go.
Okay. And we've got about, I don't know how many minutes here. We got about 3 minutes, I guess. Let me ask you a couple of quick, quick questions here, and just kind of go with your instincts
Sure.
here. If you could go back and talk to your younger self, because you deliver messages to young people, and if you could go back and talk to your younger self, what would you tell yourself?
These questions are spot on. I mean, spot on. The first tour that I did in Bermuda, that was the opening of the tour, and I came up with a few things, and one of them was I would tell my younger self to fail. I would say fail at as many things as you possibly can, because there's this notion of failure, and I think what people forget is life sometimes is so much more about finding out what isn't for you or what doesn't work or what's not your path to get to the goal of what is for you. And if you do that, when you're young, you heal better. It's just like breaking a bone, right? You heal better, you brush it off, you hit the next one, and you're ready to roll.
That's great.
Are you on your path? Do you
I think
feel?
so. I mean, I'm here, right? So,
Right,
yeah,
right.
the Nomads at Radio
Well,
Caravan.
What's the goal for you?
I think the goal is to be able to continue to, have that balance of fun and meaningful. You know what I mean? And not, maybe not be too serious where it's always about, because people want to have fun. People need fun. They need to laugh. They need to enjoy. But at the same time, if you can slide in there something relevant that just brings people together, I think that's it.
Just a boy with a goal. Start a chain reaction that would ripple around the globe. Just tomorrow, my sorrow, I let it go in the past. We don't curse the darkness, we shine the light and laugh.
From the top of the sky, rain down 1,000,001 more souls in the good fight. I feel alive.
Feel like I'm alive, first time.
From the top